Hello, everybody, and welcome to another lovely talk. I hope it's a lovely talk for you anyway. And this time it's extending beyond. It's something that we can do in the winter solstice time. Last time was all about the good things that we can honor during the time, but this time it's more an activity that comes up in circle, usually about this time. And it's automatic writing and journaling, and also having a few examples of what automatic writing is and how to work with the energy as well. So first of all, we are quietening down for the winter now. It's certainly got a cold chill in the air at the moment. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm feeling the cold right now. But there are still things that can be done in the winter solstice that are really lovely to take part in. So a circle member just brought me some beautiful pine cones from a nature walk that she did, and they're sitting proudly on our central part of our circle energy. So, and I went out there on the morning of the winter solstice and lit a golden candle to welcome in the light. And unfortunately, I didn't get there at the end of the day because I was off to giving a talk at the VSU. But that was a lovely thing to do. And all my beautiful crystals are making winter solstice water. So that's another lovely thing to have around me. It's also about sharing a meal with family and friends to celebrate. And I found that we are talking more about our ancestors, and it might be lovely to bring along pictures of our ancestors to share in our circles, but also amongst your family and friends, because it's very important to keep our ancestors alive, the stories that we can tell about them, and always the uplifting stories, but some of the difficulties that they would have gone through as well. But anyway, back to automatic writing. And I start this exercise off with just allowing the people to go into a meditation state. They've got pen and paper beside them, and we go into a lovely meditation, and then we begin the journey with just writing down our thoughts, just the first things that come to us. I've noticed that people who haven't done this before might choose to just write down words, or they might just write pictures if they're a bit of an artist, or they might just scribble. It really doesn't matter. It's just giving you that first indication that you can quieten your mind, open up to spirit, and then go forward with conversing with spirit in this way. And it's usually such a beautiful feeling as we do this. I can't tell you how many times we've had some beautiful words, beautiful poetry, and everything that is inspired from spirit. So when I do this, it does come with a warning. You must prepare your space. It is a question of going in with your protection prayers. It is a question of having everything organized so that you can just go into the meditation, start the work, and then as the work finishes, and you do have that feeling of this is enough, they'll usually say some sort of goodbye to you. And then there's a thank you. Thank you for the work that's been done. And more or less with that, you're closing down the energy as well. I did have a very sad instance of a lady who had a lot of problem with this. She would ring me up to let me know that she couldn't stop writing all through the night. And so we had to get rid of like she was under a negative influence because she hadn't protected herself. She didn't have an opening, a closing, and all she was going was just starting, because it is very attractive to do this. But you have to keep yourself safe with all spiritual work. You have to keep yourself safe. So as I prepare for this, and whenever I'm going to do a lecture at one of the spiritualist centers, my way of doing that, which is sort of an automatic writing process, is I sit at the computer and I just begin. I ask, what are we talking about today? And then just go with the flow. Now, I'm very lucky with that because as I was a young person at high school, we had to choose between doing sciences or commerce. And commerce was shorthand and typing. I can't tell you how handy this has come in because it means that I don't think about what my fingers are doing, they just flow with the energy. And then it's a blessing too when you're working with the computer, especially on a talk, because you can go over and review and take into account some mistakes that you've made and things that you want to alter. It's completely different when it's done by hand. And I find the beauty of doing it by hand, the flow is still the same. You're still just working with the flow of what's coming through from spirit. People have observed me as I'm working that I will write super quickly. And that's because I don't want time to think about what I'm writing. I just allow the thoughts, the energy to flow. And that takes time to build up, or it might be something that's automatic to you as it is to me. I feel that that's most probably is one of my gifts that I can claim. And thank you very much for giving me that gift. I also feel that I was being prepared from a very early stage to do the work that I'm doing now. So it is a question of whatever suits you. Other people, they can do this by recording it from their phone, and there are plenty of apps now that can actually type out what you have spoken. So again, if writing isn't your thing, then perhaps recording it in a different way, but also always knowing that this flow is coming from the higher self. So the exercises we do, first off, is we just open to spirit to see who's there, what's there, why are they there with us today, and just afterwards we share the messages. It's not mandatory to share the messages because sometimes they can be so personal to you that you really don't want to share them, and that's perfectly all right. But at other times, it's a beautiful thing to share. Other times, another exercise that we do is to have a question in our minds that we want to work on. So, for instance, I have always had my weight's always gone up and down, up and down, up and down. And that really affects my joints and everything else. So I was asking, how can I get rid of more of this inflammation in my system to help to settle this? And spirit in their way, because they do have a wicked sense of humor, they said, well, you are passionate about what you do. You do have a lot of fire in you in order for you to do the work that you do. And I thought about it and I thought, oh, yep, that's quite true. And so they said, well, have gratitude for the fire that you have in your system. It doesn't mean to say stop working on your health and your well-being, but it's giving me an understanding of perhaps it is there for a good purpose as well as anything else. So it's that type of thing that I know that I can ask the spirit, and they'll give me an honest and true answer, whether I want to hear it or not, to be working with them. So that was another lovely exercise that we did. And then a third exercise was choosing an oracle card. And I got everybody, I'm very fortunate. I've got heaps of oracle cards, mainly because my daughter had a mania about them, and then she wanted to get rid of them. So I took them on, which has been lovely for the circle members because there's always plenty to choose from. And as we do that, we pick our set of oracle cards and then we do the shuffle, 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 put it in three, choose the top one or the bottom one, whichever is your choosing. And then from there, we settle down to the meditation. We can choose to have a crystal. We've been working in crystals as well. We know what our northern hemisphere crystal is, but not many of us know what our southern hemisphere crystal is. So we've been aligning ourselves with crystals astrologically from this part of the world. So as we've done that, and we're holding our crystal, mine was in this part of the world is sodalite. So I was working with the sodalite energy. And that to me is one of those stones that I know it to be getting you out of confusion, working with your third eye, working with your crown. And so it was a lovely experience of trusting the energy of the solar light as we were working. So the thing is that my exercise was to pick a card from the Mythic Oracle card from Blue Angel Publishing. And on Thursday, the 11th, I can give you the date when we're doing, because I always ask people, please put your date that you've done this. Please put your name on it as well, because sometimes I choose to write some of these out for a nice little booklet at the end of the year. So, but I need to know who's actually written them, because otherwise I wouldn't know. Anyway, my card was Cronus, and for my purposes, I understand now that Cronus is the god of harvesting, but he's a very imposing character. So here's what I wrote. So, oh my goodness, how imposing is this portrait of Cronus, the scythe piercing the light and shining on his face from the dark to the light. It was a #1 card for the beginning of a cycle. His look, too, is quite stern, as if he were brook no nonsense. So the message that came through was, yes, my dear, we are ever and forever going through cycles. Here on the earth plane, you have so many cycles from the day you were born to the very end of your human life. Seasons, every year, and every year itself a new cycle, a new adventure. Each day, even each hour has a cycle, always going forward into the unknown and growing out of each cycle with more knowledge, more wisdom and knowing. And you take this into the next cycle. So do not rush this process. Stop and enjoy every moment, as all moments are fleeting and precious. You might ask, do we on spirit side experience cycles? And we would say, yes, we do. All divine sparks are ever learning and growing, but it is very different. We do not have the trappings and density that you move through, and there is no time, as you acknowledge, and yet we too celebrate the cycles and rejoice when someone has achieved a goal that they have been working towards. And we too celebrate when we see our loved ones and charges achieve a golden truth or opening of awareness on the earth plane. But we do not need to judge how, or if indeed when, that will happen. It is just glorious when a moment of joy and enlightenment comes through. As you know, there is a collective consciousness, especially now with so many souls on this earth plane. And we so look forward to the cycle when all will move from the third dimension into the fourth, the fifth, and sixth dimensions. When all will be understood and all will be known to be one. The golden age, we all have it in our blueprint. But we have the benefit of it really doesn't matter when, but rather be patient, loving, and kind, and encouraging us all to be alive to each moment, grateful for each morsel of enlightenment, and know that we are all here on this journey to love, learn, educate, and to be of service. So with blessings, we will finish and congratulate you on how far you have come on your cycle of life this time. And also congratulate you all on the human earth plane, on the light you bring. With so much love and blessings, my dear, courageous, beautiful souls, your friends in spirit, blessed be. And then they added a little PS. Our cycles are much slower than what you have on the earth, for we do not measure in years, but in eternity. So I realized that as we were going through these different exercises, that they were actually calling us to do that marvelous discipline of journaling. And I feel it is a key to helping us in our spiritual journeys. Now, my son, Ben, he has a routine of every morning writing an A4 size page every day. And this, when I've been trying to do journaling for years, I must admit, and I get these beautiful diaries, and then the first page wasn't big enough, and then there would be masses of empty pages, and then the next page wasn't big enough. So the thought of just writing in an A4 size journal and just keeping it to that page was very intriguing to me, because I don't like wasting paper, and also it felt a lot more doable for me to do that. So for my time in the mornings that are precious and I love is when I can get up and make a cup of tea, see to the pussycat, of course, and then go into my living room where I sit and I meditate. I can also give myself some Reiki, which is beautiful. And then I start my journal page. And I can't tell you, I always leave 3 lines at the bottom to say a prayer. And uh, and I find that is just such a beautiful thing to do. It's a prayer of gratitude. It's a prayer of hope, of desire. It's just encompassing everything that I need on that day. And then for me, it's a question of I'll go to the beautiful YouTube, I'll walk a mile, which is awesome, and or do some qigong, whatever I feel like on the day. And then I start my day with such gusto. It's like you're waltzing into the day, and it's my favorite way to stay current with everything that I need to do. So, journaling, yes, very important. And if automatic writing can start you off on that journey to realize how important it is, how much you can organize your thoughts, you can allow spirit to come through. Again, another thing that happens to me is they'll give me such great information and I'm writing it down thinking, oh, I have to get to the computer with this because this is something I can share with everybody. It's not just for me. So again, it's a wonderful tool for me to use. And the other thing that I've learned from, again, it was most probably something that I saw on YouTube, which is a fund of knowledge for everybody. But it's at the end of the day, and I'm usually so tired at the end of the day. If I get that chance to just say thank you, I'm very grateful for the day, that's enough. But I saw this lovely little piece, and it touched my heart, so I'd like to share it with you. And so it is, you can be tucked up in bed, and the last thing that you might say is, I'm laying every worry at your feet. I pour peace into every part of me that feels unsteady, and ask that you strengthen all parts of my body that feel drained. I trust you with everything that I cannot control, especially that you are looking after all my tomorrows. I choose rest over worry, trust over fear, peace over panic. Thank you for blessing my spirit, and know that I am held. Amen. So isn't that a lovely way to end the day? To just have those thoughts in your mind of handing everything over into God's care and helping us on our journey in our spiritual life. So I do wish you the blessings of this time of year. I believe that the winter solstice only begins on the 21st of June. It will go on until the next turning of the wheel, which is Imbolc, and that's at the beginning of August. So we've got plenty of time to explore something new, something different, and something that will enhance your spirituality. And I love and don't apologize for repeating this blessing for peace. May the longest nights of the year bring rest to your mind and warmth to your home. May the returning light fill your days with hope, and may this season connect you deeply with those you love. Blessed be. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking with you another time. Thank you.